All right. Did it say we're recording?
Yeah, it's up in the top left.
Yeah.
Perfect. All righty. So here we go with our biomechanics of the running stride. This project was done by Kari, Derek, myself, and our good buddy Forrest Gump. Quick little agenda of the presentation here. You can look through that, but we're getting to the meat and potatoes shortly. But we do want to start with a territorial acknowledgement. So the three of us, we just want to acknowledge that we're pretty fortunate to be where we are and acknowledge the traditional territories that we live on and work in. So Kari and Red Deer is on the territories of the Blackfoot, Derek and Victoria, the Wasanic, and where I am right now in Muskoka is the Anishinaabe.
Great. So our description of an expert performance, as we take a look here at Kipchoge, is the following four elements. There's the vertical oscillation, which is just another word for vertical displacement. We want to minimize that in an expert running performance so that horizontal displacement is maximized. And also the arm carriage, looking at that nice 90-degree arm right there, and then producing as well that triangle in the backswing. You can see that in that runner right behind Kipchoge. Posture is also important, maintaining that forward lean from the ankles. And lastly, the strike parameters, which we're just going to be talking about the angles, particularly with the knee flexion and then also that rear foot, but also considering stride frequency and stride length to optimize speed. And here are our 7 phases. Phase 1, ground contact, 2, braking, 3, mid stance, 4, propulsion, 5, the swing phase, 6, the recovery, and 7, prep phase for ground contact again.
So we looked at 3 key mechanical concepts that our expert does well and our novice will learn to do through some training plans. So the first one was the center of gravity and torque. So torque is going to be force times a distance perpendicular to the axis of rotation. And as we can see on our right expert performer, he has a nice forward lean, which gets that center of gravity just outside the center of mass, which helps with the toppling effect and keeps the runner moving forward. And we also have torque through our joints. And with the expert runner, we don't really want a big sway or anything like that. So we want our net torques to actually be 0. And this links to our angular kinetics. I know we jumped down a little bit, but with angular kinetics, as we're looking at that expert performer, that as that right leg is brought up, it actually decreases the moment arm and decreases the inertia, which actually makes his running stride more effective. And we can just kind of see there that left wrist or is coming through, and that is actually going to decrease the radius of gyration, which again is going to help decrease that kind of swinging motion to increase efficiency. And all of this ties into our linear kinetics, because at the start of a run or a race, then we need to accelerate. And once we've accelerated, then we really want to maintain a constant velocity and have a net 0 acceleration. And so this is going to be through our momentum, which is our mass times velocity to keep running. And then depending on the weight of the runner, that could also have implications on how much force is actually needed to propulse them forward and continue with that nice constant velocity. And then our expert runner, as we can see there, has done a really good job of decreasing the impulse of the ground. Therefore, again, it's going to increase their efficiency of running. And so here we can kind of see a little bit of a slow motion side-by-side video of our expert and our novice. So some of the key things you can see on the right, our novice is a little bit more upright. That leg doesn't quite bend and swing through quite the same way as our expert performer.
Moving on now to our evaluation and diagnosis. So just throwing the free body diagrams up again to give you another visual, but focusing on our our big differences here, we can look at some joint angles, and this ties back to what Norty was talking about with our angular kinetics and our torque and getting that toppling through our upper body, and then being efficient on our swing of our leg with our lower body. So you can really see both the angle of the upper body from our novice on the left to our expert on the right. There's a pretty substantial difference of 20 degrees there. And being upright like that is going to actually be slowing our runner down. So we want to get that forward lean. And so you can see the 20-degree difference from novice to expert. And same thing, we've got 21-degree difference in our knee flexion. And again, that has to do with shortening the lever, which is our leg on that recovery. We want to be as efficient and smooth and as effortless as possible on that recovery. We don't want to waste energy having to carry a long leg through. So that's another area that we saw as a pretty obvious and initial thing to start working on and intervening, if you will.
Great. So intervention. Now we're on to the fun stuff. Before I show you a few quick videos of drills that we'll be using, this is just an example of how we would implement some part practice and some whole practice into our training plan. And a lot of these drills are pretty holistic. So meaning that we're going to be working on several things, not just one element of the stride that needs to be corrected. But in particular, looking at working on that forward lean, as Jay mentioned, and as well at the angle of the legs as they come through the swing. Perfect. So here we have the A skip, and we're just going to watch this excellent runner as he performs the A skip, and just notice how that knee is driving up and the bottom foot is nice and flat, and he's coming down under his center of gravity, landing on his midfoot to forefoot, which is the goal right there. And our second drill would be the B skip. So similar to the A skip, we're really working on bringing that knee up, but then also bringing that heel up on the backside. Just trying to reduce, as we talked about, that angle, that reducing that moment arm so that the swing phase is more efficient. And our last drill is an example of whole practice where we're going to put all of the things that we're working on together in the form of a stride. So he'll start off gently accelerating and then come up to probably about 80% to 90% of his full speed, but really working on maintaining that good form and that posture, that forward lean, and just working on all those elements at the same time. And here are our references, the most influential part of our presentation. And thank you very much.